Welcome to the MEMONEET show. Myself, Ritik, your biology SME. I guess in the last class or the last video lecture, we have actually discussed or we had a revision of the living world, right? On today's class, we will be discussing on the second part, that is biological classification. So, what do you mean by biological classification? So, in the very first part, yeah. Aristotle was the earlier one who attempted, in a more scientific way, where he has classified all the living organisms, right? So there he have divided the animals into two groups. Like basically has actually divided the animals into two groups. Those which had one as red blood and those did not had the red blood. So in this way, he has did. So later on, another way he has also classified the plants based on its height. Like what do you say that trees, then shrubs as well as herbs, right? So this is one thing. So later on, again, what happened? We get to know that two kingdom system of classification came in existence. So that was given by Linnaeus. So Linnaeus is like two kingdom system of classification. So where he has been, classified as two kingdoms. One is Plantae and the another one is Animalia, right? So again, there was a confusion bit because there were some of the green algae which showed even the plant characteristics since they could photosynthesis, and even it showed some of the animal characteristics. So therefore, again, there was a confusion happened, and finally we had another system of classification which was given by R.H. Whittaker in 1969. So where he has proposed what? Five kingdom system of classification, right? So in five kingdom system of classification, what all came? So he has named them as Monera, then Protista, then fungi, Plantae, as well as Animalia, right? So these were the five kingdom system of classification which he has given. So these all things you should have this, and basically you should know these things all in your mind. So there were other group of organisms which did not fit in this five kingdom system of classification, and they were kept separated, such as viruses and viroids, prions, and lichens. So these are the other, group of organisms which did not fit in this five kingdom system of classification. Hence, these were, like later on they were introduced and they kept side apart. So this is what basic things about the classification. So I'll move to the questions and we'll try to same thing. We'll try to revise the entire topic in a very brief manner. Okay. So with questions, I'll also try to cover the entire topic. So we have this question that is, it is again an assertion as well as reasoning kind of question. Yeah. So what it is, the two kingdom classification was insufficient. Okay, that means as I have explained you before, there were the very first thing was the two kingdom classification was there, but it was insufficient. What was the reason? The reason they have given us the majority of organisms did not fall into either of the character in the two kingdom classification. So this is the reason they have given to this assertion that is two kingdom classification was insufficient. So if both assertion and reasons are true, the reason is the correct explanation of assertion. That means if both are true, that means The reason is actually the correct explanation of this assertion. That is what they're saying. So in the second statement, it is saying that if both the assertion and reason are true, but the reason is not the correct explanation of assertion, so this is actually the wrong one. Then next, if the assertion is true, but the reason is false, again, this is wrong. If both assertion and reasons are false, this is also false. So I have already explained you two kingdom system of classification in which they have classified two. One is plantae and kingdom Animalia, right? So why, but this was not sufficient because there were other organisms such as eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Basically, we had some of the, unique characteristics of animals. They were not fit into both. They were actually showing both the characters. They were unable to fit in either plant or animalia. That's why, the two kingdom classification was actually insufficient. So there were other way where, for example, Monera, Protista, fungi. So, we needed other groups also so that we can put these organisms in the other group. So the majority of organisms did not fall into either of the category. For example, if you take bacteria like algae, fungi and all, they were not fitting in any of these two category. So separate, classification was required. Separate kingdom was required. So therefore, this reason is also true, and this reason is a proper explanation for this assertion. So option one is correct. So this is clear to you all. So the second question is match the organism in column 1 with habitat column 2. See, if you go with the kingdom Monera, especially in the archibacterians, in archibacterian, you will find this thing. So where this haloplites, then thermoacidophiles, methanogenes, and cyanobacterians. These are actually the bacterians, right? Halophiles actually they can be found in the extreme salty area. You're getting? So that means for option A, this is correct. See, since bacteria are found everywhere, like if you take a handful of soil, okay, you'll get more than thousands of bacteria in the soil itself. So bacteria are found everywhere where you cannot imagine the life. So there also the bacteria can be found. So this halophytes can be found in the salty area. This is fine. So very first thing is you have to see like where exactly it is fine. So in the option one, you'll see, obviously option one, you'll see. Then thermoacidophiles, you'll see in hot springs, right? So therefore for B, it is hot spring. See, I'm not trying to solve the questions here. Basically, I'm trying to revise you the entire topic through the questions, because if you understand the topic, okay, then only you'll be able to understand the questions and solve them properly in the exams. That's why I have taken the questions and trying to cover up the entire syllabus. Okay. So one question, that means if you have a question and you have an answer for it, obviously what we can do is we can try to understand the topic of the entire question, like okay, from which topic the question is asked and what are the answers for it, and why these options are wrong and why this question is right, why this option is right. So by this thing, you will be able to analyze the entire topic as well as the question and a proper answer to that question. So that's why I have taken this thing, and I have chosen the proper one where such questions which is related to a topic so that I can summarize the entire topic. So that's why I've been taking like these types of question. Anyhow, for B, then methanogenes. What about the methanogenes, guys? Yeah, where you'll find? Yeah, you'll find the gut of the ruminants, right? So this methanogenes is a bacteria where basically you'll find them in the ruminants animals such as cow as well as cows and buffaloes you'll find. Then they are responsible for this thing, production of the methane gas. Okay, so from the dung of these animals, methane gas can be produced. So this methane gas production is actually responsible by this bacteria, that is methanogens. Then we have the last one is cyanobacterians. Obviously, cyanobacterians where you'll be finding them in an aquatic environment. So what is the correct answer? This one is the correct option. Okay, I have taken this question because it is directly from the NCERT textbook. So there is no twist and turn. Only thing is it is matched the following and it was asked in the 2019 paper. Okay, and this is actually a proper explanation. If you are very confused and if you want to clear the topic and all, you'll definitely get these types of questions and its explanation, everything in our NTA PYQ book. Okay, so you can have an NTA PYQ book, especially in biology. It is really going to help you. See, why I have put this thing is because you'll know like what are the benefits of having NTA PYQ book. Okay, so because it is explained, a crisp explanation is given where halophiles and thermoacidophiles, methanogens, cyanobacterians. So they have explained it very well that where exactly their habitat is, and even they have explained it in a detailed manner also. That's why I basically prefer you to take NTAPYQ book. If you are planning to take any of the book in the market, then I prefer you to take even our NTAPYQ book of the MEMONEET. Next question. See, you know this diagram, right? Where exactly you'll be seeing this diagram in the eubacteria, right? So obviously you'll be seeing this in the eubacteria itself. So what I have given is the given figure is of the filamentous bucrine algae as one of the examples, Nostag diagram they have given. So you need to identify the part A and part B. If you remember the diagram which I have explained in one of the video, you'll remember. See, part A is actually heterocyte, okay, and part B is actually mucilaginous sheet. Anyhow, see what is the function of heterocyte here? Heterocyte, it is a part where it normally fixes the atmospheric nitrogen atmospheric nitrogen in specialized cell. Okay, so some of the organisms they can actually fix this atmospheric nitrogen with the help of the specialized cell which is present. So that specialized cell is actually called as heterocyte. So this is clear. And this is actually a sheet which covers the body of this organism, that is, of this organism. So this is the sheet. So now to the option, which of these are correct? First, second, third, fourth. Yeah, option A, heterocyte is correct. Option B, mucilaginous sheet is correct. So what about other options? Vegetative cell is wrong, trichons are wrong. Yeah, again this is wrong. So option 1 is correct. We'll go to the next concept. So during same in the eubacteria, just to cover up the other thing. So you know this what do you say that? Heterotropic bacterians, right? Yeah, it is heterotropic bacterians. So if I take that concept, so during favorable condition and unfavorable condition, so bacteria reproduce in many ways, right? So if it is very favorable condition, what happens? Bacteria normally reproduce by fission method. Fission method matlab, so if this is a bacteria, what happens during favorable condition, it gets divided into two. So where its DNA is also being splitted into two itself. So this is cell wall you have, then we have a cell membrane. So there is also DNA which is present here. So it gets splitted into two. That is called as fission. So during unfavorable condition, what happens? They start producing the spores. This is one thing. And also they undergo sexual reproduction, okay, by adopting the primitive type, that is DNA transfer from one bacteria to the another bacteria. So this is during unfavorable condition. Fission is favorable condition. So on seeing the options here, budding is there, fragmentation is there, sporulation is there, fission is there. So during the question is during favorable condition. Okay. So with the concept what we know, during favorable condition, it undergoes fission process. See, another one thing, basic thing is you have to understand if the conditions are very favor, right, we'll go with a very easiest way of reproduction. So why would any of the organisms will take a difficult level, right? So budding is also it takes a major steps and fragmentation, sporulation, spore formation. Also, it takes a process. It takes a lengthy process. But whereas in fission, the process is very less. Therefore, the easiest method of reproduction is fission. So when this fission happens during favorable condition, so therefore, what will be the option? Option 4 is correct. Okay. So what about, yeah. So what about the next question? Which of the following statement is correct? See, again, I'm going to take the mycoplasm itself. So in the mycoplasm, that is the bacteria, right? So that means mycoplasm are also a kind of bacteria. I just want to explain you what are this mycoplasm. See, this bacteria, mycoplasm, they are actually the organisms which that complete they normally completely lack the cell walls. That means they do not have cell walls. Okay. This is one point. The second point is they are actually the smallest living cells, so they can even survive without oxygen. So they can even survive without oxygen, and they're actually pathogenic. That means they infect pathogenic to animals as well as plants. So they normally causes diseases to plants as well as animals. So these are the basic things you should know about the mycoplasm. So now going with the statements, mycoplasm cannot pass through which of the following statement is correct? Out of four statement, which statement is correct? Now you need to say me. See, mycoplasm cannot pass through less than 1 micron filter size. See, you know what are 1 micron filter? Very minute. So as already I have told that very small, minute microorganisms. That means normal bacterial size को compare किया तो it is even very, very, very small. So that's not the it cannot be a correct statement. So this is no. So mycoplasms are bacteria with cell wall. So I told you it is completely lacks the cell wall. That is without cell wall. The second statement is also wrong. Mycoplasm lacks the cell wall. Yeah, this is right. And they need oxygen. They don't need oxygen. They can even live without oxygen. So which statement is correct? The statement 3 is correct. So this was all about the bacteria. That is eubacteria. Now, the next question. Dash are the saprophytic protista whose body moves along decaying twigs and leaves engulfing organic matter. See, do you know this? You have different options, right? So there are dinigoflagellates. So what are dinigoflagellates? That the organisms mostly marine and photosynthetic in nature, right? Then what about the euglenoids? So again, euglenoids, they are basically freshwater organisms found in almost stagnant water and all. So this is instead of cell wall, they have a protein-rich layer that is actually called as Palisil, where Euglena. So this is about Euglena. Then you have this thing. Cyanophrites. So what about these things? So they includes diatoms and golden algae and all. They comes under this group. What are slim modes? So slim modes are basically saprophytic in nature. That is, they are basically saprophytic protestas. So that means these slim modes body, they normally move along decays to and leaves. They normally, the body moves along decaying twigs and leaves, engulfing the organic matter. See, when I'm talking about the slim modes, what happens? So they form under suitable condition, they form an aggregation. So this aggregation is called as plasmodium. Okay. So during favorable condition, they forms aggregation. That is, if there are slim molds and all, so they actually forms aggregation. They segregate or they They meet in one specific place. So this is called as plasmodium. So which may grow and spread over several feet. This is one point. During unfavorable condition, what happens? Okay. So they form a fruiting body. From this part, a fruiting body emerges. Okay. And these fruiting bodies bears tiny spores on the tip of the region. So on the tip of the region, they normally bears tiny spores. So these pores, it actually possesses the true walls. Okay. So if they're extremely resistance and survival for the many years, even during unfavorable condition. So these spores, it gets dispersed. That means these spores will move through wind or some other, help and all, by the air current and all. Then it gets dispersed and there it starts its development. This is how it develops. So to this statement, slim molds is the correct answer. So this was all about the slim molds. Here I have actually tried to explain you what do you mean by euglenoids, right? So euglenoids, as I have told you, they're mostly marine as well as photosynthetic in nature. Another one thing is the appearance of color is yellow, green, brown, blue, red. Depending upon the pigment which is present on the cell, and even these rapid multiplication can also be seen, and they release some toxic. Okay, so these toxic will somewhat affect the living organisms such as aquatic fishes and all to die sometimes. This is all about the euglenoids. Dinoflagellates, when coming to the dinoflagellates, as I have told you, that diatoms, or they are golden, golden algae and all. So they are found in the freshwater as well as in the marine environment. Anyhow, so they are very microscopic and they float in the water current. Okay, this is one thing. So the diatoms are actually made up, the cell walls, they are actually made up of overlapping cells. So this is overlapping cells, just like a box kind of structure can be seen. So there, that means those cells will fit together in such a way, like so box like a thing. So these diatoms, they're actually made up of what? Silicons, or the diatoms, basically they are made up of silica. So therefore, after that also the debris, they actually lay on the surface of the water for even millions or billions of years sometimes. Okay, years, billions of years basically. So that is actually referred to as diatomaceous earth. Okay, so that is referred to as diatomaceous earth. So that means these debris, silica debris, they accumulate over billions of years on the surface of the earth. Okay, and that debris can later be used for polishing or filtering of the oil and all. Okay, so this you will get in the ocean basically. So then I have explained you about the slim molds. Then chrysophytes. What do you mean by chrysophytes? That is what I have explained you about the chrysophytes right now. So you got these things right. So yeah, I'll go with this. The diatoms, the same concept. See, the same concept I have derived here. That means the diatomaceous earth is formed due to which substance? Yes, which substance? I have explained you, silica. See, what happens is every year in NTA, as I have observed, questions are repeated or else the topics are repeated, even though they add up new topics. Okay, but still it is been derived from the previous questions. So how did I derive these questions? Actually, from the previous year questions. Okay, from the previous year's question itself I have derived these questions. So where you will get all the previous year questions, you will get that in NTA PYQ book. So what is NTA PYQ book? I'll just explain you. See, you'll get this here. Okay, so you'll get all the previous year questions in the NTA PYQ book. Anyhow, so by knowing, yeah, the previous year questions, the concepts, okay, you'll be very perfect with the concepts. And once you understand the concept, right now, you will be able to derive your own questions. and give a proper logic answers. Since we follow 100% NCRT textbook itself, there is no need to worry, because in other institutions or wherever you go, sometimes with flow they'll also add up which is out of your syllabus. Since we prefer 100% with the textbook oriented, that is NTA pattern itself and 100% NCRT textbook itself, so there is no need to worry, because 100% we are assuring you that where we are going to explain you any deleted concepts, and if something which is newly added also, we will add up in the explanation and we'll try to explain you or bring it to your notice. So I'll move to the next question. So which of those statement is correct? Okay, so you need to understand the statements here and you need to say which among the statement is correct. So this is actually from the kingdom fungi. Okay. Okay. Some of the organisms can fix atmospheric nitrogen in a specialized cell called sheath cell. I don't think so, because see, this cell is nowhere related to this function. Next, fusion of two cell is called as karyogamy. Do you think so? What do you mean by karyogamy, guys? Can somebody like, yeah, very good. See, coming to the karyogame, so it is actually the fusion of two nuclei. Okay, so that is called as karyogamy, not the fusion of two cells here. So the next third statement is fusion of the protoplasm between two motile or non-motile gametes is called plasmogame. The statement is correct, because what is the definition of the plasmogame? The fusion of the protoplasm between two motile or non-motile gamete is actually called as, yes, plasmogame. So the statement is correct. The last one is organisms that depend on living plants are called as saprophytes. How does this comes? What do you mean by saprophytes again? Yeah, most of the fungi, we know that they're what? Heterotrophic in nature. That means they absorb soluble organic this thing matter, right, from the normally dead substances and dead animals. It might be plants or animals. So that is called as saprophytes, right? So this thing is actually called as saprophytes. So nowhere they depend on the living organisms. Okay, they will be getting its organic compound, whatever the food which is necessary, through the dead and decaying dead and decaying organisms such as plants as well as animals. So that is actually called as saprophytic. That means fungi normally shows what saprophytic in nature. That is what we prefer. So this statement is also wrong. This statement is wrong, and this statement is wrong. The only statement which is correct is the third statement. Okay. So this question was actually asked in NEET 2021 directly from the NCRT line statement. See, these types of questions, whatever questions from 2019 to 2024, all the questions have been segregated in this NTA PYQ book, okay, where we have been segregating them based on the chapters, topic, and we have also mentioned which here the question was asked and what type of question is it, whether it is statement based, line to line, match the following, whether it is graph based, everything has been written. And even here you can actually see that there is a detailed explanation is also given here. Okay, so detailed explanation. If you want to know exactly the topic, you don't need to search here and there. You'll get everything detailed explanation here itself. See, with the diagram also they have given. With the just by seeing the images you can revise it. So even they have also given the diagram, and as you can see here, like they have also explained the first, second, third, fourth option, out of which the first option what is why it is wrong, the second option why it is wrong, and the fourth option why it is wrong. So everything they have explained in detail. in the NTAPYQ book of the MEMONEET. Anyhow, we'll move to the next topic. So again, this is about the fungi itself. Uh, how many of the following statements regarding fungi are true? So out of these five statements they have given, you have to name which out of these five statements, how many statements are true. Okay. Asexual reproduction is common by formation of spores. Do you feel it's true? Asexual reproduction is common by the formation of spores. Yeah, that's true. So their body consists of hyphae that may be interconnected to form mycelium. Yeah, even that is true. So you know this hyphae, right? So it is like connected to this, right? So their hyphae are actually interconnected to the body. So that's true. The third point is they secrete digestive enzymes onto organic matter and then absorb the products of the digestion. That's true. That means immediately they cannot take up whatever the decaying organisms, right? So they are going to secrete and digest certain digestive enzymes onto the organic matter, that is onto this organic matter, so that makes them very easily to absorb the product of the digestion, that is absorb the product what they require. So this is also true. Fungi can break down almost any carbon containing product. Yeah, that's true. So the last one is fungi do not enter into symbiotic relationship. No, it's utterly false. It doesn't. Does the fungi will not follow any symbiotic relationship? No, right? It does follow the symbiotic relationship. You can see the symbiotic relationship in many of the animals as well as fungi, even with the plants and all. So the fifth statement is wrong, and first, second, third, fourth statement are true. So how many statements are true here? Four statements are true. So option three is correct. To the next question, you need to recognize the figure and find a suitable match to it. So the figure one is actually the tobacco mosaic virus. Sorry, that is TMV. Okay. And what about the figure B? It is actually the bacteriophage. Okay, so it is actually the bacteriophage. So based on this figure, you have to identify a suitable match. So this A attacks on the eukaryotic organism while B attacks on the prokaryotic organisms. That's true. So basically what happens, they normally attacks on the cells, okay, this bacteria. So sorry, this thing basically it attacks to the cells, that is eukaryotic organisms, whereas B attacks on the prokaryotic organisms. That means bacteria. It normally infects the bacteria. This virus normally infects the bacteria. That's why we call it as the bacteria. The process is actually called as bacteriophage, right? So bacteriophage. So therefore, this is actually a bacteriophage virus. That means this virus normally infects the bacteria. That means prokaryotic organism. So the first statement is correct. Coming to the second statement now. A has single stranded RNA. Obviously, it has single stranded RNA, whereas this B has the double stranded RNA as a genetic material. That's true. What about the third point? A belongs to Protista, where B belongs to Monera. No way, because since I have already told this, right, that belongs to the virus. So virus doesn't belongs to any of the five kingdom system of classification. They are kept separately. Then this option is wrong. The statement is wrong. Both A and B are acellular organisms. That's true. So remain 1, 2, and 4 options. So where 1, 2, and 4 option is option 4 you will get. So this is right. So this is what about the virus now. So then see, yeah, we have to select the correct statement here. Okay. So out of all the statement, you have to select the correct statement here. Yeah. Chlorella, typhoid, and tetanus are well-known diseases which are caused by viruses. Then dinoflagellates, euglenoids, and sling molds are placed under kingdom Monera is true. Uh, then members of the kingdom Protista are primarily aquatic. Dinoflagellates are chief products in the ocean. No, this is wrong because dinoflagellates are not the chief products in the ocean. So, what are actually chief products in the ocean? Yeah, it is actually chrysophytes, right? Are actually the chief products in the ocean. So, this statement is wrong. So, then the dinoflagellates, euglenoids, and slimmoids are actually placed in the kingdom Monera. No, they are actually placed in which kingdom? Kingdom Protista, right? So this is also wrong. So now you have two statements. One is members of kingdom Protista are primarily aquatic in nature. That's right. So what about this thing? So cholera and typhoid are actually caused by what? Tetanus are actually caused by what? Is a big question here. See, basically, what happens is you'll have this thing. So, basically, the smallpox and all are actually caused by viruses. So, that is tetanus and all are actually caused by viruses, where about these things are actually caused by bacteria. So, again, the statement is wrong. So, the last statement you have that is the member of kingdom Protista are primarily aquatic in nature. That is right. So, select the correct statement. The third statement is correct. So 158, which so that means the other question. This question I have taken from the Brahmastra test series one, okay, which you have written, which you have given the test. So which of the following set of organisms have no position in five kingdom system? See, what are the organisms that I have told you in before, which has no position in five kingdom system of classification? One is virus, then viroids, then prions, then last one is lichens. So these are the organisms which has no position in the five kingdom system of classification. Your basic and primary thing is you have to see whether all these things are present or not. For example, there will be some confusing statements such as here, see, TMV, you know that it is actually a virus. PPLO and bacteria is already given. So now you'll have a confusion. Array, this is virus, right? That means even this might not be belongs to it. Again, they have given this prions and lichens are given, and this is actually a kind of bacteria. So it belongs to some this thing, right? So now what happens is you'll find confusion in these kind of statement. For example, here you have these things where you have the sac fungi. So now what happens is these things, you'll be very confused because these all things especially, they do not belongs to any five kingdom system of classification, but these do belongs to five kingdom system of classification, right? So now you have to see the statement which consists all these things. So virus, viroids, and lichens are there. So obviously all these three things do not belongs to they have no position in the five kingdom system of classification. So therefore, the first one is right. So sometimes in exams, these types of confusing or tricky questions will also be asked. So that time you have to see that whether the following answer has been put in the statement completely or not. So if it needs it satisfied completely, then only the option will be right. If not, it is not. So the last, like the statement, they have given the three statements here. The only thing you need to know is which of the statement is right. So yeast is a multicellular fungi. No, yeast is actually unicellular fungi. Penicillium is actually a multicellular fungi. So this two statement is wrong. So what about the third one? Albugo is a parasitic fungi of mustard. Yes. So if you have read the fungi part very clearly, you'll understand. You'll get it in the page number, I think, 18, 19, sorry, 16, 17, and 18 page number, you will get this topic. Okay. So in the textbook. So albigo is actually a parasitic fungi on the mustard. So the third statement is correct. So here only statement three is correct. So what happened is on the mustard, okay, on the mustard plant, basically this fungi grows and it starts consuming the, all the nutrients, okay, all the nutrients from the mustard plant. So therefore it is actually a parasitic fungi. That means at the end what happens is that they are actually consuming or sucking the nutrients from the other living organisms. That's why albugo is a kind of fungi which is a parasitic in nature, okay. So it all normally grows on the mustard plant. So therefore the third statement is right. See, most of the questions I have taken from the BTS test series, that is Brahmastra test series. So yes, if somebody is very new to this channel and they're very curious to know what is this Brahmastra test series, it is actually a kind of test series that we are conducting where it is going to cover simultaneously 11th as well as 12th syllabus. It prefers or present NTA 2025 syllabus and it follows purely 100% NCRT. So if any deleted portions are there, it is not added and newly added portions have been considered. Like we have taken that also in the pre-on. So by solving this BTS test series, one plus point you'll get is simultaneously you'll be covering both the 11th as well as 12th syllabus together, and you'll have a vast amount of time for your NEET 2025 preparation. And the question paper pattern is set according to the NTA 2025 itself. So you'll have an idea about how to tackle the questions in the main exam. And we have a very unique system. Like what is it, the speciality is we actually have an OMR thing. So you'll actually fill the OMR and you'll take a snap of the OMR and you'll upload it to the memory. So immediately you'll get your slot, that is you'll get your result announced, okay. So where you'll be able to know there is actually a mistake box also where whatever the wrong questions that you have attempted or the questions that you have not attempted will be added there, and in that way it is going to give you a summary of like on which topics you need to concentrate and which topics you are very strong and all. So this is all about the Brahmastra test series. So for more information, we have our Telegram channel, free Telegram channel of the MEMONEET. Get into the go to our Telegram channel and you'll have more information about this Brahmastra test series and the planner of every day and all. And this is basically the NTA PYQ book, guys. So this NTA PYQ book, it has all the questions covered from 2019 to 2024. This is one point. And that too, we have segregated based on the chapters and topic wise. So there is a detailed explanation, like from which year it has been asked. So what type of question it is, whether it is statement based or whether it is fill in the blanks type of question, diagram based or match the following, everything is given. And it has both the explanation, one is crisp explanation is also given and detailed explanation is also given, as I have shown in the previous, while solving the questions and explaining you the topics. So just reading those explanation itself is enough to understand the topics, okay. Another one thing is you have a barcode there at after each every question. So if you are having doubt to understand any of the question, just you can scan the barcode and it will take you to the video solution of that question. Okay, that means for each and every questions, there is a video solutions also by the specific SMEs of that specific subject like biology, chemistry, and physics. And you'll also have a video solution of that thing. And it is 100% based on NCERT textbook itself. If there are any deleted topics that have been removed and newly added topics are also been taken, they are also be added in the questions, okay? And yeah, even there are tagging is also there, as I have shown, like from the question from which topic they have asked, from which chapter, which topic, which number, that is which number of the page you will exactly get, that thing also is there here, and it is being deeply according to the NCERT textbook. So I prefer you to have NTA PYQ book with you. And yes, all the best for your preparation and stay tuned for the upcoming another video.